We got a sneak peek this week of Big Sexy's new podcast. It is Click This with Kevin Nash and Sean Oliver. They put a little snippet of it up. There was a promo that they did with Conrad. I think this is in Conrad's network of his bajillion podcasts that he has by now. But then there's a clip up on YouTube now too. I did check my podcast feed. They have not put out a full podcast yet, but they did put out a sample of it at least, where Kevin Nash shoots on Jim Cornette. Check out this clip.
Because it wasn't going to affect.
Well, if you ask Jim Cornette, he fired everybody and find everybody, and that's what I've done.
Because I'm just breaking kayfabe like a motherfucker as I sell my way to the corner. That's why the first hug, when you see that photograph, we're all in that fucking turnbuckle because I was using the turnbuckle to keep myself up. We weren't trying to fucking destroy the business. We weren't trying to show everybody that it was if it would have been a work, I would have fucking jumped up and fucking done it's entertainment. I mean, like he just like before you open your mouth, look at it, and and he will now. And I didn't like Cornette. I didn't.
When he was there, you mean?
Yeah, I didn't like Cornette. I didn't like him for until we got to TNA.
They should have called this the Big Sexy Podcast. Click this. It's a little meh for me. I'll get used to it, I'm sure, but it's a little weak. But the Big Sexy Podcast, because to me that kind of he's big sexy, so it's the Big Sexy Podcast. But it could also be the podcast is big and sexy. It's a big sexy podcast. So I like that. Maybe they'll change it. Just throwing that out there. You guys can have that one. No copyrights. You don't got to pay me nothing. Just smile at me. Tip the hat. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm very excited that Kevin Nash is going to be doing a show. He's fun to listen to. He's another guy that's not going to sugarcoat shit. He don't give a fuck. He's not like a dick either. He's not going to just bury everybody, but he's not afraid to bury people if need be. Kevin Nash is a straight shooter, and he's got a unique perspective on the business because I feel like he loves wrestling, but he's not a mark for it by any stretch, So he's not. He's got he's got a business sense to it. The Click was really good at that, and that's why even they meshed good with Hogan. It was kind of like an awkward pairing at first, Hall, Nash, and Hogan, but it worked out really well because they all kind of have that same mentality of the wrestling business. They love it, they respect it, but they do see it as a business. Even though it's fun and they love it and they can watch wrestling matches and talk about wrestling all day, at the end of the day, it's a business to them first, and they're worried about the money. And that doesn't work for me, brother, and all that shit. And so I'm excited to see the kind of stuff that Kevin Nash can get into. I'm also excited to, Sean Oliver, get him back in the game. We all should be familiar. If you're the kind of person watching this show, I'm sure you've watched his all his shoot interviews that he used to do back in the day. He's like one of the godfathers of shoot interviews, him and RF video and that kind of stuff. As far as the Jim Cornette clips, that's the clip that I showed here where he's talking shit about Cornette a little bit. Rightfully so. He deserves a shot back. Cornette's not shy about talking shit about the Click on his podcast and that curtain call angle and what he would have did, so it's fine that Nash gets his receipt. Like, it's wrestling. We're talking wrestling podcasts. You're sitting behind a microphone talking shit about people, so Cornette gets his receipt here, and that's perfectly acceptable. And big sexy Kevin Nash, man. I'm pumped that he's got a show. Every wrestler and their mom's got a podcast now. It's such a flooded market. Dude, I can't, even when I search, Man, I still haven't been able. I haven't gotten into William Regal's new show yet. I haven't been able to dive into that. There's only so much time in the day, and that's kind of partly the reason why I do this show. Is to kind of point you guys in the direction of some of the highlights, right? Like, God, there's a whole world of podcasts out there. So what should I be listening to if I'm behind or just don't even know where to start, or there's so much to pick from. Where do I want to put my time at? I do this show to kind of point you in the direction of some fun stories that I think you guys will like. But this one, I think I'm going to try to listen to quite a bit, the Kevin Nash podcast here, both for Nash and Sean Oliver. Sean Oliver is great. If you're not familiar with who he is, look him up on YouTube. He does fantastic interviews, and he's done them with damn near everybody in the business. And he has worked with Kevin before, so there's a good rapport there. And we can tell already that Kevin's he's gonna be blunt. He's gonna put his shit out there, He's gonna flap his balls on the desk and be like, "What, bitch? I'm in the house now." Big Sexy, the Big Sexy podcast. That's what it needs to be. Matter of fact, I'm going to refer to it as the Big Sexy podcast from here on out. I will not call it Click This. I will say Kevin Nash said on the Big Sexy podcast. But that's it. Go check out that clip if you haven't yet, and then keep an eye out. I didn't catch any kind of date or anything. I probably could have looked on, read something or whatnot on their podcast feed. But I would expect it to come out, this week probably, or very soon. So keep an eye out for that and give it a listen. Big Sexy. Woo! I don't know why I said woo. He doesn't woo. He does this, but he doesn't woo. He does a...
Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah, and you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Oh yeah, dig it.